morning, Jewel. How nice to see you. Hi, everybody. Good morning, Karen. Hi, Teresa from Texas. Uh-oh, I got my volume on. Hold on. Good morning, Karen. Hi, Teresa from Texas. There's always something I have to fix. All right. Good morning, Philomena. Wonderful. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Yes, we're going to do a really fun card today. Just a catalog case. You guys, there's so many great ideas in the catalog. Just follow along in the catalog and you're going to be fine. You don't have to be, a brilliant idea comer-upper to stamp. It's really fun just to case things. It's one of my favorite things to do because then I don't really have to think. I can just sort of look at the picture and enjoy the process. Hello, welcome. Oh, look at all those hearts coming up. Thank you. I gotta check make sure I don't have lipstick on my teeth. What else do I gotta check here? Oh, you guys, I had a first yesterday. A first for my entire lifetime. Yes, my hair is actually long enough now that one of my children braided it last night, put it into a French braid, which I've never had in my entire life. And it looked really good. Of course, then I slept on it and it looked really bad when I woke up, but that's okay. Oh, goodness. Welcome. Yes, I see people are already sharing. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to give away a yard of ruched ribbon. Actually, 2 people will get a yard each of ruched ribbon along with the card that we're going to make. So, wonderful. All right, so I'm going to share what I'm really thankful for because I'm drinking coffee out of my truly thankful coffee cup this morning. And it tastes so good and it's so nice and warm and I'm feeling so sad that I'm going to have to put it aside for a minute here while I do this Facebook Live. So let me do that. But what I'm truly thankful for today are my kids. They came over last night and we had so much fun. We made homemade pizzas, which were just delicious. And then after the homemade pizzas, we enjoyed cheesecake for dessert, but the night wasn't even over. That was just kind of the starting point. And then after that, we spent a few hours making candles. So just so much fun. And the girls actually did it last year, and then I was a little sad that I wasn't invited to the candle party. So then this year they had it at my house. Well, last year they were going to surprise me with a Christmas present. So I got a candle for Christmas last year. But this year I wanted to be part of it. So we all got together at my house last night and made candles. So I have to show them to you. They're so cool. So here's one of them. And then the funnest part of making them was getting to name them. So like this one was called Juniper Woods. So it was just really fun. Oh, and they smell so good. We used essential oils in them. And then this one is frankincense and cypress. Smells so good. I wish you guys were here so you could smell it. So part of the fun of candle making is collecting the jars that you're going to put the candles in. So this is an olive jar. And it just makes a really pretty candle jar. And we use soy wax, so it burns really beautifully. And then here is a little yogurt jar. You can buy yogurt in glass jars. I don't know if you knew that or not. My daughters and we buy yogurt in glass jars so we can use them for candles afterwards. All right, so that's just something that makes me super happy. So that's one of the things I'm truly grateful for. The other thing I'm truly grateful for is being able to follow Stampin' Up's wonderful catalogs to get all of my card ideas. So I don't really have to work too hard as a Stampin' Up demonstrator to come up with really pretty cards. This one, case in point. So I'm going to flip the camera down and we'll go ahead and get started. So not only are we going to create this card, but I'm going to share you a couple of cards I've gotten in the mail or that were dropped off at my house. So let me share that first. But this is the card we're going to do today, and it is a Tidings all around card. And I just was looking at the catalog, and here it is right here in the catalog on the front cover. So much fun to just get your ideas from the catalog where they abound. All right, so let me share something I got in the mail with you. And it's my very first Thanksgiving card. So here it is. And it is a beauty. It is from one of my downline members who lives in Florida. So thank you so much, Carol Sullivan. And I love it. It's beautiful. It uses the woodland background embossing folder back here, and then it's got some pretty fall leaves, and it says "You are wonderful," and then inside it wishes me happy Thanksgiving, and it's pretty, very, very pretty. So thank you so much, Carol. I love it. And then a second, I got a matching card and notebook combo from one of my downline members. And look at how pretty it is. So every month I give away scraps to my downline. So I save my scraps in a little bucket, and then we do a drawing. And so she had gotten this out of the scraps that I had given away. And so she made a card to thank me for that. And so of course she decorated up and created this really pretty card with it. And then she took it a step further and she made a cute little notebook. So here it is, this beautiful Christmas paper, and then you open it up and she decorated a little notebook for me. She knows I'm going to On Stage, so I'll be definitely bringing this with to take some notes. Of course, I'm not actually going to On Stage because I didn't get in, but I'm going to a party before On Stage starts, and so I will be a part of that. So thank you, Monica Davis, for allowing me to be a part of your party before On Stage. All right, so now I'm going to set this aside, and let's get started with our fun day of making cards today. So let me share with you the ribbon. Looks like this. This is going to be the giveaway. And then I'll give away 2 cards. So how do you get in the giveaway? So easy, you guys. Just share this on your timeline. Let me know that you've shared. And then just make a comment. Tell me where you're watching from. You know, tell me, do you case the catalog or do you try to come up with your own ideas all the time? Whatever. I just love knowing things like that. And so the item that we're using, Tidings All Around, is actually part of a bundle, and it's all kind of part of this toilet. Okay, I said it wrong again. I always want to say it the wrong way, but it's TWAL. It's all part of the TWAL Tidings suite. Isn't that terrible when you get something in your head and it's just so hard to get it out and say it correctly? But I have learned. So there's wonderful designer series paper, which, I don't know, do I even have it handy? I think I do. It's this one right here. It's garden green on one side, and then on the other side it's real red. And it just has all these different patterns, and every single one of these patterns will work equally great on this card. And then it's also this Tidings All Around. And so we are using the stamps from Tidings All Around. We are using a die from the Christmas Cardinal dies, because basically I just copied this, so I did what Stampin' Up did. And then we're using the glitter enamel dots. And then of course the real red ruched ribbon. Love it. So let's get started. And of course we're gonna start with our card base. All right, so hi Monica. She's so glad that I'm coming to the party. Well, I am too, I can hardly wait. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Garden Green Designer Series paper. And I'm going to make 2 cards because, of course, there's 2 cards in the giveaway. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Just fold it along the score line, grab your bone folder, and do the exact same thing here to the other one. So this is basically, as you can have probably figured out, just a sheet of cardstock cut in half. All right, so there we go. So we're going to set that aside for a minute. Then we're going to do a little stamping. So grab a couple of scraps of very vanilla paper, and then you're going to run them through your die cutting machine with your stitch shaped dies. And we're going to use the circle, and we're going to use the second largest circle to cut out 2 stitched shape circles. And that's what we're going to stamp our sentiment in. So let me just grab a Stampin' mat, because this is a photopolymer stamp set, which means you'll get a little bit better image, or you'll get more reliable and consistent images if you're using a Stampin' mat. So we've got the garden green ink here, and I'm just going to ink this up. And this is a card I'm actually going to give my daughter. Do you know why? Because her last name is Comfort. So she got married to a young man whose last name is Comfort. And I love this sentiment because I think it's kind of fun to send them a Christmas card every year that has the word comfort in it. So, tidings of comfort and joy. Love that. So we're going to ink up the other one and do the same thing. And I'm putting it towards the bottom. You've probably noticed that because we want to have plenty of room towards the top to put our little leafy sprig with some berries. Okay, so there we go. And I'm going to move that aside. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to share with you what I did to make the little sprigs. So these are little scraps of garden green paper, and this is the Christmas cardinal dies, and I used this little sprig right here to cut out with scraps of garden green, some little leafy sprigs. So that's what's going to go on here. And to put them on there, I'm going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue. So let me go ahead and we're going to flip those over. And I'm just going to put a little dot of glue into each of these. Well, not into all of them. Let's see. I think just 3 of them here. Because you don't need very much and it's all going to stick very well. Trust me on that. Okay, so then we can flip it over and we're going to set it on here so that just a tiny little bit sticks out over the top. Not too much. Just set that in. Oops, and I put my hand right into this glued one, but that's okay, there's still glue there. And we're going to just set this in again, like so. And there we go. So now that looks pretty plain Jane and kind of boring, but you know what? When you add these wonderful Toile Tidings glimmer enamel dots, it just brings out a whole new look. So we're going to use the red ones, and I've got a little strip here, and I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool because this is just such a handy little tool, and if you guys don't have it, I highly recommend it. So it includes a little pointy end, and I use that fairly often. It also includes a little metal spatula end, and do you know what I use the metal spatula for? Sometimes right after I glue something down, I decide I wish I hadn't done that. Has that ever happened to you? Well, then I just grab the little metal spatula end, and I can kind of work up that layer so that I get a second chance. So that's what I use that little metal spatula for. And then it also has an end that's really useful for pushing off your, say like your little diamond rhinestones. I know they're just called basic rhinestones, but it's more fun to say diamond rhinestones. So you can take your diamond rhinestones and pick those off with that little sticky end. I don't do that too much. I'm just so used to using the little pointy end, so that's what I do. So we're going to take we're going to use 3 of them here. And we're just going to set this in so they're all kind of clustered like little berries. So as you can see, I'm just clustering them all together. And I'm not using the very biggest one. I'm using the 3 smaller ones. So we'll do the same thing over here. And let me just grab this. And we'll just pick this off and put this on. There we go. So we have 2 very cute berry clusters. Now, does that not give it a whole new beautiful and gorgeous look? I love that. All right, so Pam is telling me that her red rubber stamps don't always want to come off her blocks. So she uses the spatula end to lift them up so she doesn't accidentally tear the rubber. That is so smart. And you know what I do, Pam? I don't need to use the spatula end because, and let me see if I can find one here. So what I do is when I'm going to just talk about this a second because it's an important point. Yes, you can just, like if you have, if you're this is a really, really, really sticky piece of sheeting that we put on here to stick to our acrylics. Well, for so long we had stuff that didn't stick very well. So then when Stampin' Up! Made it good, they made it really good. And what Pam is saying is she takes apart, take her pick tool, and she uses this end to pull it off, get it started so she can pull it off the block. That's very good, but there is a little trick that you can do before you ever even put it on the block. So this is what I do. Once I get my adhesive sticker onto the back of my red rubber stamp, I just take it and I go like this onto my shirt or my jeans, and then let's pull the cat hair off here. Then I can stick it onto my block, and I don't have any problems taking it on and off. So if you just do that, just add a little bit of lint, you don't have to worry about that. It'll just stick the right amount at that point, and then you can just pull it off. But if you don't want to do that, if you're not going to fuss with cat hair and all of that stuff, that's whatever's on your clothes, then yes, definitely go ahead and use that spatula end. So very good tip, Pam. Thank you so much. All right, so then, let me see, what are we doing next? Oh, yes, we have to stamp our wreath. So we have the next step is to grab a couple of squares of very vanilla paper, and these are 3 3/4 inches. So we're going to set them down here again on our Stampin' mat. We're going to use garden green ink, and we're just going to ink that up, and we're going to flip it over, and you're going to stamp that pretty much in the center of that 3 3/4 inch square of very vanilla. So that looks pretty good. And again, it's a little hard for me to do this because I can't just whip my head right over the top of it. But if you're a little off, that's okay, because it's not going to be that noticeable, honestly. All right, there we go. That one's even better. So let me put some of these things away here. Then you're going to grab your real red ink pad, and you're going to stamp some berries all around. Now, one way to do this is just think how the clock's set up. So if you think about it, you will want to stamp sort of wherever there's, so basically 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and then just go ahead and stamp in between, and then you know that your berries are all going to be evenly spaced. So look how nicely that turned out. So we'll do the exact same thing over here. So first just stamp your north, south, east, west. You can also think of it like that. And then go ahead and stamp in between those. There. So we have that done. Then there is a little, you know what, we do want to just leave this real red out for a second here because we have more berries to stamp. So then for the inside panel, grab a couple of very vanilla sheets of paper and cut them down to 4 by 5 1/4. And we are going to use a sentiment from the Toile Christmas, and it's this one right here. It says, "May this season be filled with beautiful moments and happy memories for you and those you hold most dear," which I love. I think that's beautiful. So we're going to grab the garden green ink, and we'll ink that up. We'll just stamp it right here. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And then we want to decorate this a little bit. So we're going to grab some, oh, let me see now, what stamp set did that come from? That came from the Tidings All Around stamp set. And we're going to use this bundle of, I don't know, it looks like ferns. So we're going to do that little bundle of ferns. And we are going to stamp it like this. And like this. So we have a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. That might be a little bit of overkill, but it's so much fun to stamp this. And I'll show you in a second why once you start stamping with it, you really don't want to stop. The reason is it's one of those beautiful stamps that Stampin' Up! Makes where you have darker parts of the image and lighter parts of the image. So it almost looks like this little fern was stamped off, but it wasn't. It's just the way Stampin' Up! Makes the stamps, and I love that. I think that is so neat. I don't know how they do that. It's kind of a mystery, but it's really cool how it looks. So then go ahead and grab your little berry stamp again, and you're just going to add a little bit of berries in these leaves. It just adds so much. There we go. And then we have our decorated inside. And I think that's all the stamping we have to do today. So let me pull this all away, and now I think it's just a matter of assembling our card. So let's grab the card bases here, and we're going to grab some snail. Oh dear, look at my thumb and fingers. I'm really full of ink today. I better be careful here when I'm assembling. My goodness, I don't know how that happened. All right, so we're going to set the inside panel in. And you know what? Give me a second. I really do feel like I need to wipe my fingers off, or I'm going to possibly mess these cards up. No idea how that happened. And who knows, that may have been on there from before because I can't even get it off. So I guess I've been playing in the craft room. There we go. So here is the next one. Again, we're just going to add a little bit of snail at the top and put it in. And you know what? I failed to mention that the Tidings All Around stamp set can be purchased as a bundle. Let me just show that to you. So this is the stamp set I'm promoting today, Tidings All Around. And then here is the coordinating dies that go with it. So you can cut out these stamps. And if you're wondering what this little peak is, I have to share with you. When you're stamping, you'll notice that there's a little peak. Let me bring it up to the camera right here on your stamp. See that little bit of green down there that's got the ink on it? So if you line that up on your paper, say always to the top, and then when you come in with your die, just make sure that you're always going to the top with that little peak, and you won't have to go like this around and around and around trying to figure out which way to cut it out, because that's your clue right there. All right, and then the other thing I probably also failed to mention was in the Toile Christmas cardinal stamp, you have the coordinating dies and the coordinating stamp set as well. All right, so let's get back to the card making here. Then you're going to take a couple of pieces of the Toile Designer Series paper, and you're going to use the green side, and I've got it cut 3 by 6. And we're just going to go ahead and glue those down. So I made them a little bit longer than the card because I want to cut that bottom part even with the card. So I'm going to add my glue just where the cardstock is. And then we're going to set this in right up here, center it in, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other one. So again, I just set it up here so that it's even with the top, and then I don't bring the glue past this bottom piece that sticks out. And then we'll go ahead and glue this little piece onto the front of our card. And again, you're just centering it in. And what's nice about having these longer strips is that way you don't have to worry about cutting it super exactly. You can just take your scissors and you just trim along the inside panel here, and you have it absolutely perfect. There we go. So now we have a very perfect edge. We'll do the same thing to the other side. Oh, Rosemary, one of my customers here in Minnesota, is telling me that her cardinals are coming to her bird feeder. Well, that is wonderful. They love sunflower seeds. We've had cardinals coming to our bird feeder for many years. Whoops. See, this is what happens when I hold it way out to show you guys how to do it, and then it's hard for me to see what I'm doing, but I did it. Now you're going to take these little pieces of these little wreaths, and we're going to set those so that they are about maybe a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch down from the top. And we're going to put those on with snail. So I'm going to grab my snail again. And some of you are wondering, oh, okay, why do you sometimes use glue and why do you sometimes use snail? It's because sometimes glue lines will show through on Very Vanilla or on Whisper White. So we're going to try to avoid that. So we're going to bring it down, like I said, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch from the top. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. And we'll just set this in just like so. And it looks perfect and I love it. There we go. Now the ribbon. Let me grab the Real Red Ruched ribbon. Looks like this. I already pre-cut it. But I will cut a yard as my giveaway and wrap it around the card and send it to you. And I'll do the giveaway on Thursday morning. So you've got between now and Thursday morning to watch the video and share it on your timeline or let me know where you're watching from. That's always fun. So yes, this is just a tiny bit longer. It's probably about a foot that I cut off. You want a little bit sticking out over the top, close to the top of the card. And then I'm going to use my, I've got my Scotch tape right here, and we're just going to tape this down because that's just the easiest, simplest way to do it. And that's what I go for, is easy, simple ways to do things. So there we go. We've got this one, and we'll trim that up in a little bit. We're going to do the same thing to this side. Again, we're just folding the ribbon over. And we want it a little bit down from the top. Take the Scotch tape and just set it in here. Because that tape is going to get covered up because we're putting a sentiment over the top, in case you're wondering. There we go. Then we can take our ribbon scissors, which of course mine is across the room, naturally. So I'm going to take this one and hope all for the best. So then I'm just going to trim it into kind of a peak. Oh, that worked pretty good. There we go. So there's one, all trimmed up. We'll do the same thing over here. I'm just going to trim it a little bit below where that 3 3/4 inch square ends. There we go. All right, who wants to see me get fussy? Because I'm going to. I don't like how this one turned out, so I'm going to redo it. And then I'm going to trim this one up a little bit higher so it's more matchy-matchy. There. Perfection. All right. And I always say I'm letting go of my perfection. Not so much. All right, so now we're going to flip these little panels over. We're going to add dimensionals. So I've got those right here. And because I want to make sure that they're going to grab something to hold them in place, because you don't want your dimensionals just touching ribbon, because that will make your sentiment panel a little bit wobbly, and we want to avoid wobbly if we can. So I'm just putting my dimensionals kind of all around, so I know for sure they're going to grab some part of the card at some point. So now we'll take these little peelies off, and we're almost ready. We're almost done with our card. So we're going to flip this over, set it just like so, right over the top, and this is done. Oh my goodness, how beautiful. So let's do the next one. Oh, you're so cute. Melanie's saying OCD serves us well. Yes, in card making, sometimes it really does. It is kind of a benefit because you just have this natural, I don't know, you just have this natural inclination of knowing what's straight and what isn't straight. It does kind of help. There we go. However, it can also hold us back, so you do have to kind of keep it in check once in a while. So there we are. We have the cards completed. I am off. I am going to join my two daughters for lunch, and my, I don't know, how would you say it? My daughter's mother-in-law. Yes. So we are all getting together for lunch, and so I have to be there. I don't know what time it is right now, but I have to be there at 11:15, so I am off. Well, see, you guys have a great day. I really, really love doing these cards for you, and you are just the most wonderful viewers. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.